Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Star Raider Cannonball from the Transformers Legacy United line from Hasbro. So this was part of the Star Raider capsule that was exclusive to Walmart, but was also available on Hasbro Pulse. I actually got this one from Walmart. They honored my pre-order. I couldn't believe it. Sent it straight to my house, no issues. But yeah, very excited to take a look at this guy. If you remember, Cannonball back in the day was a repaint of Galaxy Force or Transformers Cybertron Red Alert or First Aid, depending on which fiction you're paying attention to. And I think that's very interesting because he is made out of skids in this representation. But if you've already made skids into Cannonball, should be very easy to repaint this into Red Alert / First Aid and give us another Cybertron character. So wouldn't be surprised if that's coming down the pike at some point. So we'll wait and see for that. But he has some nice artwork of the vehicle mode here on the front. Some nice artwork of the robot mode here on the side. You have the standard open window there. Still don't have the plastic back window on there, so you can reach right in and touch the figure. Half of the Legacy United mural there on the side. Not really anything going on the bottom. And up here we just have the Legacy United logo. Spinning it around to the back, we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. He does have the claw hand. I'm assuming it just slides into the mushroom peg area. I don't know if I'm going to have to take the regular fist off myself and then plug that in, or if that will even be able to be stored in the vehicle mode. We'll have to wait and see. But he also comes with a Cyber Planet key, which is very cool. I love that they're doing that for the Cybertron figures now. Very, very cool. So, gonna go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we will take a closer look. So here is Cannonball out of the packaging, and honestly, he looks pretty great. I'm really surprised how well this mold works for him. I mean, it's the, fifth, sixth time we've seen this? We've had skids, crosscut, burnout, crankcase, now this one. Now, I guess this is technically using the crankcase remold because he does have the little shoulder guns in there. But it looks good. I like it quite a bit. They even went to the trouble of molding in the fake doors for the shoulders because that's very reminiscent of how Red Alert looked in Cybertron. He had those doors hang off the shoulders. I think that's so cool. Of course, they are fake doors. The real doors are still back here. They just hide underneath in the vehicle mode, but still a really nice touch. I thought that was really cool. He's got the little hand tool there. I like that. All the other pieces are just attachments that clip on, just like the original toy. So that's really nice. I was kind of afraid, because on the packaging it looked like one solid piece, and I thought you were going to have to pop these out of the mushroom peg over and over again. Luckily, that's not the case. So they just attach to the tip there like any other effect piece or anything would. It's the same kind of connection point. So really cool. I think it looks good. The head sculpt's great. I think they did a really nice job capturing Red Alert / Cannonball there. The pink for the visor looks great. The black on the one side of the face, really sharp. The face paint, the silver there. All of this yellow here on the chest. You got a little bit of gold here on the rims. Silver, all that looks really, really sharp. Even the silver here on the shoulders. Not really too much paint going on down here, but you do have some here on the side. And we're going to see in the vehicle mode, one, the purple windshield looks fantastic. And he does have those skulls on the doors, so that's fantastic. I think the original toy, if I'm remembering correctly, had it either on the top or maybe on the hood of the car. It's been a minute, but they have it here on the sides of the doors, and it just looks really sharp. I like that a lot. Plus, black, teal, purple, gold color scheme is amazing, so that really, really worked out. Articulation-wise, it's the same mold. It's the skids mold. We've seen it. But the head is on a ball joint, so side to side. You can tilt side to side a little bit, up and down a little bit. You have a nice swivel, and then you can use the shoulder joint to get the out to the side movement that you want, but then you have to kind of bend it back down. You have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees there in the elbow. Obviously, I guess technically this can turn because there is a mushroom peg in there, but don't really need it to. But you do have a fist swivel over here on this side. You have a waist swivel. Kick decently far back, depending on what orientation you have the backpack. If you have it up, then you can get more. Kick backwards. Kick really far forward. Really nicely out to the side. Thigh swivel there. 90 degrees there in the knee. Got your ankle tilt. A lot of ankle tilt there, so no issues whatsoever. But yeah, this is kind of cool. And I'll talk more about how the backpack sits. But let's get into the accessories first, because that'll tie into it. So I talked about those two little addition pieces. You have the grabber claw. It does not move. It is a static piece, but still pretty cool. And then you have the little hammer piece here. Now, you might expect that the hammer would plug into the bottom here. It actually does not. It actually plugs into the other side of it right here. So you have that little part of the hammer sticking up. I think it looks fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you got your little hammer weapon accessory. So we'll take that off. And then, of course, we got the grabber claw. I think that looks really cool. Like that quite a bit. Now, the other thing that I really appreciate for these, you can store them on the inside of his legs, which is something I was not expecting. So you can just take this, and this will just slide in there and wedge itself in, and that's not coming out of there. So I think that's really cool. It's a really brilliant storage usage there, because these were always hollow on all the other iterations of this mold, much like the thighs here, which is unfortunate. But that's great. I think that's so cool. They had the empty space. They used it. They fit perfectly like they were always meant to go in there. So that's fantastic. And I love that. I really do. They're not going to fall out. They're really nice and snug. Now, it is sometimes a pain to get them out. What I've found is if you pop the shin down, then you can kind of get in here and grab them a little bit easier. And you can get them out a little bit easier that way. So that's what I would suggest. If you're having trouble getting them out of there, just pop the shin down. And that gives you a little bit more access so you can pop these out. Although apparently it's still an issue because the hammer does not want to come out for me. I did this earlier and I really didn't have an issue. So I'm not really sure why this is a problem all of a sudden. But all right, we'll get that later. We'll come back to that. But yeah, so I think the paint scheme is great. I think the colors are good. I should say paint scheme, color scheme, paint applications, all of that's good. I love the new head sculpt. I think that works really well. I think it does look like Cannonball. But the most exciting extra feature that he has is this little piece here, which is going to plug onto his back. So if you remember this mold at all, the head kind of pushed down into the body. And that's how you can see the top of his head here. And I think he had a little bit of light bars on the side, but then there were more so that when you pushed it in, it kind of completed it across. So they've kind of replicated that here. And this is going to just peg into this spot here on the back. So we'll pop that in. It clips in pretty nicely. Straighten it out there. Love this little bit of paint there as well. And that is where our Cyber Planet key or force chip is going to attach. This one is from Speedia. Unfortunately, again, it's unpainted. That's how they've all been so far. Would be nice if they could get some paint on these, but I totally understand they're pretty tiny. But that will pop in there. And then if you remember the original toy, when you used this, there were little shoulder guns that popped out. So they have cleverly just left Crankcase's shoulder guns in here so that you can pretend that the force chip has activated them. And I think that's really cool. And that's why I kind of like to keep this piece down. And then that way I can kind of pretend with myself that the insertion of the Cyber Planet key has popped this up and deployed those shoulder guns. And I think that's really cool. I think it's a smart utilization of something that they already had in place. And I think some of it was dumb luck. I think it's just, you know, the original toy had shoulder guns. They already put shoulder guns in here for Crankcase. It was just kind of kismet, and it worked out. And I think it's great. I think it really, really was just fortuitous. And it's a really great usage of that. So I think that's so cool. I love that the Cybertron characters are coming with the Cyber Planet keys now. I kind of wish they had gone back or somehow given us ones. Well, I was saying they could give us ones for Prime and the Cyber Defense Hotshot, but there would be nowhere to put them. But I guess they could include accessories like this that you could just peg in somewhere that have it on there. But I'm kind of hoping they do another run at Optimus Prime / Galaxy Convoy, because while the one made from the Ultra Magnus wasn't bad, I think they could really do a better job and make one that like fully transforms with the pieces from the trailer. Like, it's not the same kind of transformation as in the show. It's fine and it kind of works, but I would love one that's really authentic to the way the original one transformed. I don't know if that's a HasLab or something down the line. Who knows? But could be cool. In any case, yeah, I think that's it for his accessories. Let's go ahead and move on to his transformation. So if you've transformed any of the other iterations of this mold, you're not going to be in for any surprises here. Although I will say the directions do it in a weird order, like they're trying to pretend that it's different. It's really not. We're going to start by going ahead and push those feet up if you have the ankle tilt engaged, and then just pegging the two legs together. So we will do that like so. You can go ahead and flip these down. The way they show you in the directions is they have you like bend him at the abdomen or at the waist first, and then they tell you to bend it back up, which is definitely a step that needs to happen. I've just never really done that first. I've always kind of just started doing the chest and everything, but it doesn't really matter. But they seem to stress that it needs to be done this way. So we're going to flip this up, and then we're going to drop this part back, and then you can go ahead and peg this into those 2 tabs there on the back of the legs. So this will tab in there like so and be very snug. At this point, we're going to bring this in and kind of accordion this in on itself, and we're going to want to rotate the forearms, the whole arm assembly here, like that, so that this part is facing toward you. And there's kind of a little, there's a tab here kind of built into the chest, and they want you to rest that in that section there. And it works, but I almost feel like when I'm doing it, it's stretching it. Like, it's weird how it almost looks like the plastic is whitening. But it definitely shows you to do that in the directions, so I don't know. But we're going to bring this in, we're going to rotate that, and then just drop that right on there. And these will just kind of rest here like so. And you can see, like I said, the faux doors just kind of hang out underneath. Then you can go ahead and just drop these doors down. And then you're literally just going to rotate this section down like this. And it's real nice and simple. Then you're going to just pop the wheels from underneath the feet. And we are good to go. Really nice, easy transformation. I like it quite a bit. I love the look of this. I mean, all of the windows being purple looks amazing. I like this piece on the top. That adds a lot of color, plus it introduces the port for the Cyberplanet key. You have the gold plastic up here, which looks nice. You have all the gold trim, which looks really sharp. The only thing is you can radically tell the difference between the gold plastic and the gold trim. I almost wish that these pieces were just black, and then the only gold was the paint. I just think that would look sharper. Plus, I worry about gold plastic syndrome, but I'm thinking that's kind of been solved. Fingers crossed. We'll see in time. But, yeah, you know, it is the skids mold, so it transforms very similarly, but it looks good. I really do think this kind of works. The only bummer is you can't utilize that cannon gimmick in the vehicle mode. In the original toy, these panels here kind of popped out to the side, and that's where the guns popped out, so you could utilize it in the vehicle mode. And then that whole like piece just hung on his back, so then when it popped open again, then they flipped forward a little bit further and became shoulder cannons. It worked really well. Can't do that here. Can totally do it in the robot mode, but cannot utilize it in the vehicle mode. Now, if you didn't store these inside the legs, you absolutely can leave them in the legs and just store them in the legs for the vehicle mode. The directions also show that you can store them here on the back if you prefer that look, but you can absolutely leave them in the legs while you transform it. But I wanted to show this off because the directions do show that you can do this, so that is an option. And then, of course, you can still plug the key here in the back. It just, of course, won't do anything. Not that it really does it in the robot mode either, but there's not even anything. Maybe you could pretend he gets, like, wings. There you go. It pops out wings for him to fly. But yeah, he's cool. I like him a lot. I really like the vehicle mode. Like I said, I was surprised how well it worked. And even though it's pretty much exactly the skids mold in vehicle mode, it feels different. Like they've rounded enough of the edges. It's not as boxy, especially here like in the front. And so it does feel like Cannonball / Red Alert's vehicle mode, and it doesn't just feel like skids. Like that's what I think surprised me the most. Because I was really expecting like, okay, yeah, they remolded some pieces for the robot mode, but it's going to just look like skids in the vehicle mode. But it doesn't really. I don't know if it's the painted windows or just a little bit more rounded edges here in the front. But it doesn't just feel like skids' vehicle mode. It really does feel like Cannonball / Red Alert's vehicle mode to me. And so I think that's, you know, whether it was achieved solely with paint or not, I unfortunately do not have a skids nearby to directly compare it to. But I feel like they must have rounded this a little bit or something, because it felt more boxy as skids. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe it was purely achieved with just a new paint deco. I don't know, but I like it. I think it looks good. Honestly, I kind of love this figure. I really didn't expect to. I'll be quite honest. I was kind of like another skids mold. You know, we've used this thing so many times. I was just kind of getting burnt out with it. But it works. I really like it. I hope they repaint it as Red Alert. I would grab that one too. I think the head sculpt is fantastic. I think, you know, just switching out the one fist with this little piece and having the other pieces clip on, I think works really, really well. Utilizing that already empty space to store the extra pieces in the legs was a brilliant idea. It was just kind of perfectly fortuitous that, you know, Crankcase and Red Alert / Cannonball happen to have that same shoulder gun gimmick. I think that's really cool and just kind of worked out perfectly. I love the added touch of molding those doors onto the shoulders so that you really get that iconic look from the character. I just think they did a really nice job. I think a lot of things just lined up. It worked out. They put a little bit of remolding into this, and it came out great. The color scheme's fantastic. The paint applications are good. The gimmicks work. I love that it has the Cyberplanet key. This was just a really, really well done retool, and I think it just feels like this mold was always meant to be Red Alert / Cannonball. It just really, everything lined up. It worked out. It's a lot of fun. I really like it a lot. Like I said, I hope they do it again as Red Alert. I'll definitely grab it. Yeah, I don't really have too much to complain about this one. Honestly, I think the additions really make it. You know, those extra accessories, the storage for the accessories, the shoulder retool, the head, it all just works. I don't really have a complaint. It's just fun. I like it. You should buy it if you can find it. I don't know if these are going to start showing up in actual Walmart stores. If your Walmart is anything like mine, it's been in the death throes of clearance for the past 2 months and doesn't really want to actually roll out the new product, and I don't know what's going to happen in regards to that, but it was available on the website. That's where I got mine. Hasbro Pulse should probably be getting them soon as well. I don't think it'll be too hard to find this. At least I hope it's not, because I definitely think this is one that everyone who is a fan of Cybertron / Galaxy Force should definitely take a look at this guy. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.